What is up, everyone? We're back with another VOD review. I actually got to your VOD this time, Sammy. So we're gonna be looking at the Lulu game. I was gonna look at that Nami game that was 1-8 and 16 or something like that, but I thought that game was a little bit over pretty quickly, and I also seen that the comp that they had was pretty nasty. So I was like, well, your team just probably lost to that comp because it was disgusting. So I didn't want to actually look at that one. But this one I decided to look at, and I do look at wins, you guys. And I know sometimes you guys think I just pick the losers. No, I look at wins too. It just depends on what I'm looking for. This game though, you were 0-4-6. So for how many deaths and kills happened this game, you were only a part of 6. I actually didn't check if you were AFK or anything. Like if you disconnected. No, you're level 12, so you were there. You were here. So yeah, you need to have more assists, more kills, and more deaths. And for some reason, we don't have more of any. And I just want to know what's kind of going on here. So first things first is we got to analyze our lane. We got to make sure we know specifically how our lane's supposed to be played so that we can play it to the best, right? When you go for take a test, you got to study first. So loading screen is your study time. So we have 3 types of lanes: sustain, poke, and kill, right? This isn't really going to tell us specifically what to do. It's just going to tell us how not to be dumb, right? So every lane can be 3, all 3 of them, all 2 of them, all 1 of them. And this also, all 1 of them, I'm trolling. But this also shows which beats what. So sustain beats poke, poke beats kill, kill beats sustain. Sustain beats poke because you can heal and shield all the poking. Poke beats kill because you'll get them so low they can't really fly in and do anything. And kill beats sustain because you can't really heal up all that damage. So we have to analyze both of these, right? So we have Jhin and Lulu. That's easily a sustain lane because we have heals and shields. We don't really have heals, but we have shields. And then we have poke, right? Meaning that we could poke with our comp. We have Ezreal, who is sustain, and they also are poke. Now you're like, well, there's a tie. Well, now what you want to do is say which one can do what easier. So we'll use poke. Which one can poke easier, Jhin and Lulu or Ezreal and Taric? Right, Jhin and Lulu. Now, it was only just a sustain lane. I did that as an example. The only reason why it's not called a poke lane is because we have to look at them as a duo, as a couple, right? Ezreal and Taric can't poke together that much. The only time that they can actually poke is if Ezreal manages to get so many Qs on you guys and Taric walks up and lands a stun. That's extremely hard compared to just throwing stuff out, which is why we don't call it a poke lane, because we don't want to label players on how they're going to play if we've never seen them play. You can't be like, well, Taric likes to walk up and stun me and blah, blah, blah. What if he just sits there and doesn't stun you at all? What if Ezreal just sits there and farm, right? We can't really label the players if we don't really have a specific reason to. We don't want to overanalyze. So with this in mind, our lane is going to be sustain poke, which means we want to do only that. We want to sustain, we want to poke. This is why we analyze, so that we don't do anything crazy where it's like, we're going for the kill, even though we just realized that we can't go for the kill because we're not a kill lane. We don't do damage, right? And even if it is like a Leona and a Vayne, that does not mean it's a kill lane, because the champion cannot 100-0 you. If Leona catches you and Vayne starts going on you, you're just gonna walk away. You're gonna be chunked, but you're gonna walk away, which is considered a poke lane then. So it's not gonna be a kill lane. So let's go ahead and ask ourselves these questions for ourselves, right? So the first question is, what does my ADC want to do to win lane? Well, Jhin wants to he's pretty much a jack of all trades, and I think there's only like 1 or 2 champs that are like this, but he pretty much wants to farm, poke you out of lane, or get kills. According to our analyzing here, though, he's only going to look to get you out of lane, and he's only going to look to farm, right? He's always going to be able to farm. The only reason why he can do the other 2 is because Jhin players just do stuff sometimes. Like, he can poke you, he can kill you, but like if the Jhin player just sits and plays passive, I mean, you have to adapt to that as a support. If he plays aggressive, then you adapt to that as a support, because like I said, Jhin can do everything. But if it's like a Kog'Maw and he's trying to be crazy like that, like that's not happening. So this is like the only champion that can literally do all of those. Next one we want to ask ourselves is, what does Ezreal want to do? What's the enemy ADC want to do? He just wants to farm. Ezreal's just going to farm, nothing else. He's just going to farm, maybe toss some Qs out, but he wants to get his items. Next one is, how can I prevent the enemy ADC from doing what they want to do while also doing what my ADC wants to do? Oops. So this means that this is a pretty loaded question, but I always make it simple. Once you get better at analyzing, you can do whatever you want. But like you can go into the gray area, but I keep it black and white. So we have 3 options: freeze it here, push it into the tower, or freeze it back there, right? So the only one that requires you not to be on the same page as your ADC is perma pushing, because you can help him auto attack the wave, pretty easily and just shove it. You don't even have to communicate that what you're doing and why you're playing the lane a certain way, because it doesn't matter. You just open and pushes. It's fine. You just auto attack the full HP minions. Don't take any to get them mad, and then continue to do it. But when it comes to freezing, you have to let them know, like, hey, you should be freezing back here, or we should be playing in the middle of the lane, or whatever. So you might be thinking, well, if we push him up, he can't really get the CS, right? Because how can I prevent the enemy ADC from doing what he wants to do? He can't get CS, and we can poke him under a tower. You are right, but he's still going to get CS. It might be like maybe 3 out of the wave, 3 out of the 6, 3 out of 7 sometimes, but he's still going to get the CS, which is what he wants to do. And he's a sustained lane, so your poke isn't even going to do anything to him. So we don't want to perma push it. Keep it in the middle. We can zone him a little bit, but we're still in danger of ganks. And honestly, they could still kind of retaliate on us, right? And then if we go here and we freeze it in the back, though, like if we froze it right here, we can sit right here in the bush and zone them off. If they walk up or anything happens, we just walk right under tower. And then we can continue to do that. Remember, we're not here to fight them, right? We're just here to poke them, which is what you can do if we freeze the wave back here. Which this also prevents Ezreal from getting CS. Now, if it was Draven, it'd be a different story. Because, like, obviously, you freezing it back here doesn't really affect. Same thing with pushing him in, right? If he gets farm, it's whatever. It's not really a champ that's designed to just farm only. But Ezreal is. So we want to make it as complicated as hell to get him to CS, which would be freezing it here. So we'd be like, well, ADC, let's freeze it near our tower so that we can just zone him off the wave or some shit. Sometimes you have to let them know. Same thing when you're playing AD carry. You got to let the support know like what the hell you're thinking, because you guys got to be on the same page. Okay, so with this in mind, we got everything we need to know. We know what type of lane we are. We know what my ADC wants to do. We wouldn't know what their ADC wants to do. And we also know how to play lane. We should never look for kills because we're not able to really get them unless they're already extremely low. And we should look to freeze the wave here. So let's start the replay and see what we do this game. As a support, you'd have to analyze other things too. But like I said, for the sake of the video, we're just going to keep it here. Okay. All right, so let's go back. Alrighty. We start off with the wrong ability. You want to start off with your Q, not your E. And the reason I say this is because there's no specific reason to start your E, right? Your E's are shield. Am I wrong? Yeah, okay. I always confuse her W with her E only because, like, they do different things. But anywho, yeah, her E is her shield, right? Obviously, you can put it on the enemy and attack them, and then I know you know what it does. But you don't really need to shield him from anything. So there's no reason to start the shield. Your Q definitely does more for you being able to poke because it slows him and allows you to get more than a couple of auto attacks off onto him. Versus your shield really doesn't do that much. Same thing with Nami, right? If you're playing Nami, there's no reason to get heal first. If you don't really plan on healing anything, you would just get your bubble or you would get your E if you plan on auto attacking and poking. This is how playing the game works, except for jungle. But top, mid, ADC, and support will always level their ability based off what they plan to do in lane. For an example, let's use Sylas, okay? You might not know what he does, but let's use Sylas. So there's two abilities he usually starts. His Q, which is he slams the chains down in front of him, and it creates like a little bubble on the ground, and it pops. Or he has the one where he dashes and then hooks you and then flies in, right? If he's dealing with a ranged champion, you would go with Q first so that he can get his farm safely. If he's dealing with something that he can actually like straight up fight, he'll take E first. So it's always based off what you want. Another example is Soraka Qs, right? Versus maybe her heals in general. There's really no reason to take your heal if you can just use your Qs to poke and whatnot. Same thing for your second ability, and then of course for your third ability, it doesn't really matter at this point. So yeah, you would definitely want to take your Q to get the more damage off. Also, look at where you are compared to where your AD carry is. This should never be a thing. You guys should always be side by side with each other. It could be something like that or like that. Sometimes that happens, but it should never be like this. These are like the only three you should be. Here, here, here. Also, you would want to look to poke from the... So I'll write a couple of these things down. So, first off, start the ability for the given situation. Next one is going to be make sure you're lined up with your ADC almost all times. Almost all times, not all the time. Sometimes some stuff happens. The next one is going to be pretty much what I'm explaining right now. If you're going to look for poking with an auto attack, make sure you're close to the bush so you can reset the aggro. So if the bush is warded, you want to make sure that you're closer to the back line here so that you can just walk back a little bit. But look how overextended you are for that poke. Also, there are some junglers that can come get you at level 2. You would have just died right here just because you plan on doing that. When you're poking, when you're harassing, you need to make sure you have a reason. You just kind of walked up and hit him for no reason. What is that going to do to him? He's not the one trying to CS. He doesn't need pressure on him. This is the guy that's trying to CS. This is the guy you want to get back a little bit. This is the guy that you want to say, hey, back the hell up. Don't touch that wave. I'll fuck you up. Not tear it, right? So no reason to really be poking him. It was just random. And you see how your Jin's playing pretty passive. As I said, sometimes they do that. And you're going to have to just adapt to it. So you see how Ezreal's just kind of doing what he wants to do? So if you are trying to poke down the enemy, make sure you do it while they're in an animation of some sort. So with Ezreal, his animations are going to be his auto attack and of course his Q, but his Q is pretty quickly. So you know, you could time that if you would like once you get a little bit better at like understanding how fast it is. But for his auto attack and every other champs that is an AD carry, I guess not even just an ADC. I think every champ has really slow auto attacks early. Maybe there's like a couple exceptions, but most champions have really slow auto attacks early, which means you should be attacking them while he's auto attacking. You see, look how long he was stuck in that animation. Let's just count the seconds when he queued. Not this one, the next one right here. Okay, so we'll start as soon as he walks out the bush and stuff right here. All right, so he's in animation 23, 1 second, right? And then he does it again right here. He's animation, so 25, just right there, boom. Well, again, another second. That was like more than a second because he queued, but that's a lot of time for you to harass. That's what you would be looking for. You would be looking for those moments. And if you sit in a bush and it's not warded, you're just scaring him at this point. You're just like, is she gonna hit me? Oh no. So you want to have more pressure in your lane, physically. Actually, not physically. I'm trolling. What's the word I'm looking for? Emotionally? Not really emotionally either, but we're gonna use that. Mentally. There you go. Jesus, what the fuck? You want to have that pressure. Like you want to look like I'm gonna do something. You don't just want to sit there and be like, oh, you're just letting me do whatever. You see, once again, you're in the front of him. Positioning is very, very poor because look what happens. Look what happens when you do that. He didn't really expect it. Look how far he is, though. If he was right next to you, he could actually capitalize on this because he'd be right here, just like you are, and he would be able to get an auto and attack and a Q or something. But because you did it so far away, he can't capitalize on it. He has to walk too far. He's trying, but he just doesn't manage to get to it. And as I said, look at the HP on this guy. For what, though? What are you stopping Tarek from doing while this guy is massively healthy? Nothing. Like, Ezreal can still farm. He's still doing what he wants to do. This is not a support versus support. This is a support and ADC versus support and ADC. As I said before, you need to have kind of like a logic of what you want to play the lane like. We're just kind of doing stuff willy-nilly. And then, like I said, we're just kind of sitting there. Remember, supports aren't casters. I mean, they are, but, you know. They can auto-attack, but like as the poke. You don't need to use your abilities to auto. Just walk up and hit them. Also, whenever your mana flow ban is on cooldown, you should be using ability on them. Every single time. Like, perma. Every time you notice this up. It goes on cooldown when you use an ability. Okay, you're gonna rotate. It goes on cooldown when you use an ability, and then when it turns blue again, use it again. That way you can stack it more efficiently. Okay, I like the rotation. We'll definitely shield that Rek'Sai. Wait, what? Did you not have it? Or am I trolling? Let's see. Oh, no, you do have it. You just didn't shield them. You're like, dude, fuck you, Rek'Sai. I remember at the start of the game, you was flaming me. Now you're getting flamed because you ignited, bitch. No, for real, though. You could do it over the wall. You're basically tunneled on that kill and helping that full HP Galio kill that guy. And then he only ends up dying to the ignite. I mean, he died because Hecarim hit him too, but like, he still died to the ignite. You see how heal went over the wall? You should be doing the same type of stuff. You should be thinking about the whole entire team fight. So right now our ADC is way fucking back here. We just need to leave. We're not winning this fight. We're probably gonna die. But the thing that we really want to focus on here is always look to pay attention to everything going on in a fight, not just what you're looking at. So what I mean by that is you want to make sure that you're paying attention to specifically everything. Like I said, situations like that where you can save people are just kind of unacceptable because there's really no reason for you to just not look at things like that. We need to make sure that everybody is safe, not just us, not just our ADC. We need to make sure that everybody's safe. I think we could have actually played this a little bit better. I think we probably could have killed them. I see you juke the stun. Oh no, you walked right back into it. You still have your Q, which we could be using. Okay, so you're at the perfect angle to land your Q. I'm not really going to talk too much about this, but I just want to kind of touch on it a little bit. You want to get the most out of your abilities all the time. Every single time. You want to get the most out of your abilities. We're at the perfect point to Q the entire team here. Right now. There we go. Boom. And you would hit him too. That's far enough. Even right here, you could still kind of get that hitbox to hit Taric too if you aimed it like that. It would still like snap him a little bit on the side. Like I said, I know you don't play as much Lulu as you do Nami, but it's the same concept. You want to make sure you're bubbling more than just one target. So how would you do that? You would put the bubble like right there rather than on the one target. It's the same exact concept here. We still have exhaust, so I would exhaust the Hecarim right now. Why? Because Hecarim does more damage the faster he is. So if you slow him down, he does less damage. You polymorph him, but he was still able to get the E off. Luckily, he didn't do too much. Right here, I'd be spamming my ADC back. You can also just exhaust Ezreal here if you really wanted to, but yeah, I would just be spamming him back. You see, you're basically trying to fight an unwinnable fight. If you're not winning this fight, our objective should just be to leave. Because sometimes what happens is this top laners to teleport, like right there, and then just kill both of you guys. Because you're just making the fight last way too long than it has to be. Definitely just sit there and take all that experience in, and take all that gold when you're last hitting. Don't like just steal everything, but you do want to make sure you're last hitting when you see it, because that's 1 minion, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 CS. That's damn near a kill worth of gold. If you would have managed to get all of them at least, and then you would have been a level up. You'd have been 4 right now, right? Yeah, you would have easily been 4.5. You'd have been the same level as a solo laner, and they're still level 3. So you would have been like fucking mobbing on these kids in lane because you would have been a higher level. A higher level, like a level higher than someone, is basically like an item, like a free item, like a free little piece of an item. So yeah, definitely should have stayed for that wave. If it's that thick, if it's that big, you need to stay for that wave. All right, so we know that dragon is out. We want to make sure that we're trying to prepare for it. We don't want junglers sneaking it. Knowing what junglers like to sneak dragon and like to sneak baron and things like, or not baron, Rip Herald is really, really important, so you can ping our team. One thing that we noticed though is that the jungler is topside. So what we can do to get a dragon for free is just ping our jungler to get dragon. And he'll get it by himself. Nobody even has to rotate. Just go get it. I'm pretty sure it's not warded, and Rek'Sai can just go over the fucking wall. But let's check. Because you had Taric and Ezreal die, and they were just under the tower, so there's no way they didn't ward. Lucian didn't leave lane. No way he didn't ward, and then the jungler stopped. So there's no wards, as you see. I just did the camera. There's no wards at all. It's the easiest dragon of your life. You just ping him. This is why it's important to pay attention to everything, not just what's going on your screen or what you're fighting and stuff like that. So if you notice the jungler is top and your jungler is bot, ping them to get the dragon. Also, if you know you win fights, ping the jungler to get the dragon and he's bot. Always try to do it when they're already on the side. Don't try to ping him when he's top and then like, dragon, hey, you're on Gromp and dragon. No, you gotta do it kind of when he's bot. Because if we know we win the 2v2s, the 3v3s and the 4v4s, that's just a free dragon for us. I mean, at this point we don't, but we know he's top, so that's a free dragon for him. When you're playing support, you really have to dictate the game. You really have to understand what the hell is going on and how we can get a lot of freebies. You also gotta you also gotta basically play babysitter. You gotta be the one to know specifically things that can happen, such as dragons. Like that was a free dragon and we didn't call for it. All right, so this is bad for all types of reasons. We should just stay in our lane and push or something because you're not doing anything for this. So before you look to join a fight or a play, make sure we have these 3 things. Okay. 3 things are going to be positioning, ultimates, resources. Positioning basically meaning that we are in the right position. Right here, there's 4 players on our. Is Lucian dead? Okay, we don't really know where Lucian. I thought he was here, but I guess he came back. So we have 3 players on our 2 players here. Plus, Lucian has to be somewhere around here, right? Because we don't see him. We don't know specifically where he's at, so we have to just assume he's here, he's here, he's here. Like he's somewhere around here, which he was when we looked at the camera, right? He is actually right there, but we have to just assume because we don't know where he is. Even if we know, or even if we think there's no way he's here, you just have to assume because it's the safest way. So there's 2 players stuck here between 4 players basically, and we're down here, and our ADC is not even looking to follow. He's just fucking twiddling his thumbs, right? So at this is not a good fight. You can't help realistically. But let's say this is good positioning. Let's say, well, we're pinching them. Okay, well, ultimates. We're level 5s and 4, so we don't have ultimates yet, so we skip that. And then resources. Basically, HP and mana. Does he have HP and mana? Hell no. HP and mana? Hell no. You guys do, but he doesn't. So there's no way you win this fight. But we knew this off positioning. If you don't have one, we don't continue. Right, so he dies. He actually managed to get out, which is good. But I'm glad you didn't look to fight that fight because you definitely don't win. Definitely do not win. And you have to know specifically when a play is over like that, which is why you got to ping them. You might be on voice comms with them, I don't know. But it's why you have to ping them so they don't do stuff like that and like make you go into a fight you don't actually win, right? So let's say you go up here and then for some reason Rek'Sai just decides to like barrow on Ezreal. Like he decides to go in and like try to fight this here. Oh, he did. He kills him though. Ezreal just was a dumbass. I don't even know why he would jump over the wall like that. But like, let's say he continues to fight here. We already know we don't win this fight. I mean, after he took out Ezreal, I mean, after we noticed that Hecarim was low, because we should be paying attention to the whole situation, we actually probably do win this fight. But that's just because he did something stupid. It isn't because everybody played it right. And you have to remember things like that, because that's kind of what Lulu is about. I always explain it kind of like a stove. A kid will touch a stove, it's not be hot. Even though the parents say don't touch the stove, it's dangerous. They'll just keep doing it as it's a joke. And then once it's hot, like once it's actually on, the kid's gonna burn his hand and never touch it again. That's what low plays are like. That play only got away with it because Ezreal was a monkey and he like just jumped over the damn wall and killed himself basically. But if Rek'Sai went for that play and there's people around Rek'Sai at that point in time, he would have died, right? So you gotta be really paying attention to what you're basically rewarded for, and if it was a good play. Good dragon there. Okay. Doing a good job. See? Look, it's the same situation. We're not really looking for kills. We're freezing it here, which is good. I mean, we're not really freezing it. Ezreal's just pushing us in on the entire time. But you see how safe you are? You can still technically do your job. You're just like not doing your job. You're just sitting there when you should be walking up and hitting him. But you're more effective with your poke early because you do a lot of damage compared to like right now when he already has items and stuff like that. He does just have a tier though, so you guys are still stronger than him. Jhin didn't back yet. The only thing he got was a Thorn's Blade. He needs to back. Okay. So when you back or die, I'm going to list these things as most important. I know you see a lot of stuff, but don't worry. A, you can message me anytime if you got any questions. And then B, as I said, I'm going to break it down at the end, and we're going to make it a shorter list basically on what I think is the most important to figure out. So when you back or die in a lane, oh, I don't say in a lane, but die, make sure you walk down the mid lane and look for things to do. Very, very important concept here. You always want to walk down the mid because if you can go top, you're already close to top. If you can go, if you need to go back bot because nothing's happening, you can go back bot, and if you need to go mid, you're already at mid. Versus I'm going top to help the top laner, and then you have to walk all the way down. If you notice that you can't, you don't do that. So let's give this an example. All right. So let's say we are standing right here, but mid lane, and we look. Okay, well that looks like nothing's really gonna happen. That looks like they're getting plates. Probably gonna die for it. Oh, very close, but it doesn't look like he's gonna do anything. He's probably gonna back. He's not really looking for a fight, right? He's just farming. So when you get to about here, you realize, oh, there's nothing I can really do. And then you walk down bot. When you analyze this, you always want to try to think 10 to 15 seconds ahead. So I'll write that down too. Try to think 10 to 15 seconds ahead before you roam. If you figure out there's nothing to do, when you walk down, you can go ward, right? You can put a pink here maybe, or maybe there, and you can ward on your way down. Maybe you want to ward like down here and put a ward there, right? When you overextend into the river like this though, make sure you know where the jungler is because you don't want to just find him in a bush and kill you. But you can hit this blast plant if you would like, and then smack it up, and then like, oh, you're not here. Okay, and then you walk in the river and just start warding some stuff. That way you're doing things more than just walking in lane and like actually like being useful the entire game and not just every now and then. Because it's very, very important you are useful the entire game. Alright, and if we did happen to go ward, we would have seen this. We could potentially do something here. And actually help them fight this fight. Yep, if you were there, that person wouldn't have died. Ain't that crazy? How you could have prevented that if you just went to go be useful, so to speak. I'm not saying you're useless. Don't look at it like that. I'll just say, like, actually go into ward and you know, do your stuff. You would have been there for this play. And then you wouldn't have died, and you probably would have got 3 kills out of it. But that's the beauty of, you know, always doing what you need to do. Always making sure that you're on point. Because if you are, you will manage to get things done that you didn't know you really could because you're always around, you're always hovering, you're always, like, doing something. Okay, that Rex out was just trolling. Don't know what he was doing. So now Ezreal has double buffs because we just didn't do the thing where we kind of look to go help people. We just walk right back to lane. So you're kind of doing it here, but doing in the mid. That way you're able to, like, rotate if you need to. And you're doing it here. So you see kind of how inefficient that is with your time. You're doing this to then walk back down when you could have just done it like that. Way more efficient. And like I said, it allows you to hover around multiple areas rather than being only bot. I gotta help mid. Well, look how far you're at when you're warding versus I'm warding here, I can help mid. So Malphite's down here for some magical reason. Okay, so we see if they're on Rip Herald. We know that Malphite's the only down here alone. Yeah, exactly. We should be doing that. Malphite then comes to TP. Can't really do anything here. You do not walk through that. Yeah, just ping them back. No. Ping them back and continue to get tower. There's no reason for them to fight this. No dragons up, no Rip Herald's up. Dragon's about to spawn, so we can wait. Plus, there's no pressure down here. Remember, positioning. Look how far you guys are from this team fight. You're not going to be able to do anything by the time you get there. If you do, I'm fucking retiring being a coach. Okay, I fucking thought so. Yeah, you couldn't have done anything. But we could have got a free tower instead, and we could have traded tower for tower. We might have probably lost second one, but hey, it's better than just losing 2 towers and not being able to do anything. Look at that. Look at that. We lost 2 towers regardless of you being there or not. And we could have got a tower for free. And at least traded 1 for 2 versus 1 for nothing and just giving away a lot of deaths on gold because we felt like we can defend 2v4, you know? Very, very important. Okay. We can call for the drag now. Why did we take so long? Is it because Rek'Sai was dead? Nobody wanted to do it? Hold on. Yeah, like, you kind of see how you're playing. You're just not really sure. You're not really sure what to do. You're like, what's going on here? What are we doing here, guys? I'm not really sure what the hell's going on here. Hello? Okay, I fucking died because you guys are fucking morons. That's how it is. But that's only because that's how you're playing it. If you want to actually climb to like because let's be real, gold is above average, but that's not really like good players, so to speak. That sounds really bad, but you guys know what the fuck I mean. Platinum's above average, like above average, but they're still not good player. Diamond's the same way. They're not really classified as great players. You are good, don't get me wrong. Like, you are above average, but above average in League is not the same as above average in like an actual, you know, different game, like let's say Tekken or something. If you're above average in Tekken, you're pretty good. But in League, it doesn't really matter that much. And a lot of the times, people can just end up being carried, right? You could do pretty much what you're doing right now, and because maybe you have a duo that's pretty good, or maybe you just get lucky with teammates that you just get some free wins because they. I'm not saying you're not doing anything for the win. I'm just saying they're calling everything for you, so you just got to follow along. But sometimes you get teammates that have no clue what they're doing. Sometimes you have teammates that have no clue what they're calling, and you're just stuck there for people that are just like sucking on their thumbs. And you want to make sure that you pretty much are not going to be in that situation, give or take. So you want to make sure that you're always calling things. You want to make sure that you're always telling people, you know, what to do, where to go, pinging them back, pinging them not to fight. Be more vocal with your pings is pretty much what I'm saying. If you know we don't want to fight, there's no reason to go to it. You know, you just ping them back and run away. Okay. I like this. I like that you're using your rare and buff and pushing shit. I like that. That's good. Very smart. Okay, there's no reason to be mid if we know Dragon's coming up. I know the wave is pushing, but don't fall into that trap. They're just kind of basically making it so you get zoned off. Someone else can deal with that, but you got to make sure you're with majority of your team because you're the support. You want to make sure that you can help the majority of your team. You're not really being useful way down there. You have wards to use, you have scanners and stuff like that. Like, you're way more useful together. So this fight's over. We lost Dragon. One person is already dead. We just ping back and leave. But look at you trying to be helpful, which may cause us to lose a lot more than we would have lost if we just would have left in the first place. Oh, cool. We don't lose anything, right? Yeah, nice. Look, we already knew we lost the fight, and we just hovered around there longer than necessary. And there are going to be games where there's champs that can just jump super far, and then you guys just end up dead. And it's like, bro, what the fuck? We weren't supposed to lose. Like, we already know we were going to lose the fight. And then you just get pounced on because the champs can jump super far. Same with this situation. You guys aren't defending this. You guys couldn't even fight here. You guys damn sure ain't defending this. So you ping them back and just let them take inhib. And that way we don't lose a man. So the next thing I'm going to add here is know when a fight or a play is over, ping your team back so they don't overstay. Same thing for you. You have to make sure that you know you're not overstaying. We're just not going to win fights sometimes. We're not going to be able to take multiple objectives. We're not going to be able to do a lot of things in this game. Invade or whatever. And you have to ping the team back, not just follow and try to make something happen. Okay, well, let's go back. I think we were missing someone, no? Or am I trolling? I might have just been a troll. Thought we were missing someone. Oh, no, we have everybody here. That just sucked. That was just a really bad team fight. Well, we're turning it around. Okay. Oh, fuck, that sucks. Okay. That was just a really bad team fight. It was a good like team fight, but it was just bad execution. This is why generally people don't like the like if high level players are smurfing. This is generally because we don't like to team fight with people because nobody really knows how to fuck the team fight properly. How many games can you say you actually get a full 5v5? It's very rare. Usually you get someone gets caught out and then you just clean up the rest of the team. Usually. It's never really like, oh, we're standing here together and we're fighting, because not many people know how to play a team fight properly. And so you don't really want to get to that situation where you are doing stuff like that. Obviously, as a support, you don't really have much of an option. Dude, if that shit breaks out, it breaks out. Like I said, it was just a really poor execution. The fight was fine. It's just everybody just didn't do their job. And it kind of sucks. The only thing I would say about that fight is try to use your ult as a knock-up rather than just to save people's lives. I don't know if that's what you did. And then also use your E as a conduit to hit your Q further. Right? If you E Lucian and then you Q, you can Q super far. Also use your shield to, which is your E still, I know. Use that to like negate damage, not just like shield someone randomly like you did Galio. Because if you ulted Rek'Sai right here, that knocks up 3 players. It knocks up fucking Hecarim, Lucian, and then Ezreal that's way back there. Because it will hit people over the wall if they're close enough to the wall, which he was. But you see how you just ulted him for no reason? Now you only knocked up 2 people, and Taric is one of the players that doesn't fucking matter. Right? You also have your Polymorph, which you can walk up and Polymorph Lucian to stop his ultimate. But you didn't do that either. Because that's the only thing that really killed this fight. You could still Polymorph Lucian. That's the real damage, those 2, not these guys. And then we polymorphed... Wait. We polymorphed Malphite. But Malphite already ulted in and did his job. So there's really nothing else to polymorph here. And then we would still look to either shield Jhin for the extra damage, or we would just shield to get a Q to the back line. Like we would put the E on somebody. It sucks that Trades like walked away and like didn't decide to fight, because he definitely could have cleaned this shit up. You see, once again, you're using your polymorph on like tanks. For what? Tanks don't do anything. They just stand there and look pretty. Derek's case, it's true. So last thing here I would say is make sure to use your abilities to the max of its potential. Because if you're not doing that, you're just going to end up losing fights. I'm not saying you're the reason you lost that fight, but there's a lot you could have done to turn the tables and actually win that fight. And when you're playing fights like that, especially fights where you don't really call yourself, it's very, very important that you play it as to the best of your ability. So first thing that we want to do here is homework. So this is basically just stuff I think you should work on now to help you get better faster. Analyze. Mainly make sure you're analyzing your lanes. Poke, sustain, kill, blah, 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 so you know what specifically to do in your lane. And then these 3 questions to basically tell you how you're supposed to have the wave in the middle, towards your tower, or back at our tower. As I said, if you got any questions on that, just message me, and I can help you out there. As far as these like notes go, I definitely think that we need to learn to make sure that we're positioned better in lane. Line up a little bit more parallel with our AD carry. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if he walks up, we walk up. So like if he is this, we walk up to match that. If you walk up, he should walk up, and if he doesn't, we don't go too far, because like I said, this is okay, but this is not. So we got to make sure we're doing that. Number 4, you don't really have a reason to harass, and you're just kind of walking up doing weird random stuff. You got to make sure that you're harassing the right target for a specific reason. If you're trying to harass a tank, make sure it's the one that is going to fly in, like Leona. But otherwise, you would just auto attack the carry whenever he's in an auto attack animation. Number 7, you should definitely be paying attention to the position, ultimates, and resources to know that if we have a really bad fight or not. Number 9, 2, we got to make sure that when we fight or play, If a fight flurry is over, we ping our team back. We have to ping way more. We have to ping the items, the gold, the recall, fucking ultimates, summoners, like everything. And if we look at how much you ping this game, I'm not leaving this just a game. Let's see how long this goes up. So this is let's just click from a random spot. Let's just do it from the middle, because usually that's where a lot of pings should really be. Alright, so we're just gonna fast forward it. So you pinged exhaust, you ping R, which is good. Alright, so let's see how many pings we've got. So we started at 18. Right? And now we're at 20. So in a span of 2 minutes, we have... I'm not going to count these targeted pings, because, you know, that doesn't really make much sense. It's on Rift Herald. So we have 2, 3 for missing, 4 for careful, 2 from my way, and that's that. But if you think about it, which one is actually useful? It would definitely be these two. So we have pretty much 2 useful pings. You could say on my way is useful, but not really. Specifically. Just because, like, it doesn't really matter. And you're pinging careful when they're already, like, in an engagement, right? If we go up, and we just kind of see, you're pinging Rift Herald when we already see it's crashing the tower. When do you actually... And then you ping MIA when you know that they left. Everybody's seen the MIA. When we know that they left and dispersed. And then when did you ping your careful? Right here. So you ping careful right here. This is fine. I actually do like these pings. I like these. But you're not really aggressive with it. 2 pings aren't really going to do anything. You got to make sure you're pinging like 4 times to get the point across. So sometimes people just don't listen to your pings because they're hard-headed. So I do want to see you ping more than just the average stuff. And then I also want to see you ping more times. So these are the things that I think you should be working on and focusing on. Try to do it one by one. If there's any that I think you should do first, is definitely just analyze. Make sure you're doing that, and then you know, move on to the next and move on to the next. So I hope this helped you. Got any questions? Feel free to message me. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you guys would like free VOD reviews, all you gotta do is go to my Discord, and every Sunday we do free VODs, and I will go ahead and get to you. Without further ado, though, thank you guys for approaching this like a coach.